What's up, everybody? I'm back to do the 6 types of self-care. I sent out a mini video that was explaining some of the topics that I was going to talk about in these videos. And I have decided to break it up a little bit because even though there's 6 mini topics, I feel like each topic should be touched on individually for a period of time because this part of self is something that we have to really understand. We have to understand that these things right here are, I feel like, 10 times more important than us being aware that we have to have self-love and self-confidence and self-esteem and self-worth and stuff like that. Those are the components that lead up to these things. How to care for your emotional self, you know how to care for your practical self, so these are things that we have to deal with within ourselves that actually are the roadways to us having healthy relationships with significant other, friends, family, children, because everything is based off of energy and emotion. Emotion is the biggest form of energy because everything has to be done in some type of emotional way, even if you're not showing any emotion. But a lot of the times when people are happy, they laugh, they smile, they jump. Some people cry. Now, you know the difference between a happy cry and a sad cry. You know when someone's being sad or if someone's grumpy or something. Emotion is a big thing because even when you don't open your mouth, and this is something that I am so guilty of, my facial expressions will tell exactly what I want to say and I don't have to open my mouth. So, that's something that I'm dealing with and that's something that I'm working on doing better with. But we are going to talk about emotional care because that is one of the biggest things that I feel like we have to deal with as a people in order for us to be loved and in order for us to love. So it says emotional self-care are activities that help you connect and reflect on a full range of emotions. Seeing a therapist, writing in a journal, creating art, playing music. Now, I love music. I feel like music is a gateway. Music is a healing. It's like a medicine, because when people get emotional, especially when they're aggravated or they're upset or they're hurt or something like that, sometimes if you listen to the certain type of music, especially music that is kind of like setting your mood at that time, you listen to something sad, it tends to make you cry because you're thinking about all of these emotional things that are making you cry. But it's a form of venting because you're actually getting the frustration out through the cry. Therefore, it's meditating because you're able to cleanse, you're able to actually feel better after you cry. A lot of the times when people cry, I'm not going to say that it doesn't hurt anymore, but when they cry, they kind of talk to themselves. And if you notice, if you cry and you have a lot of stuff going on, you tend to think about it. And therefore, you always come to a conclusion. Regardless of whether you go on with that thing that made you cry, you still come to a conclusion. So you accept those things in a different way than you did the first time that it made you cry. So, seeing a therapist, I don't, you know what, honestly, my honest opinion about that is like, I don't really feel like we as a people, as a nation, I'm talking about all race. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some people that can handle a lot more than others. But I feel like we all have the ability to attract things into our life. And all I feel like it takes is just a little bit of self-awareness that you can think and make decisions that will not lead you to the road of destruction. You are capable of that because you are the one that's living your life. What we see on Facebook and stuff like that is not what people's lives really are. They capture the moments, and that's what pictures are. They're moments. They're moments that you don't want to forget. We don't know what's going on behind that picture, where, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that people don't actually have a good relationship, people actually don't have good marriages, because I know people who have been married for a long, long time that are still in love. But when it comes to seeing a therapist, I just feel like we all have the ability to attract things into our life. Where it's easier for us to get emotional and cry to somebody, or be aggravated and let these people see that we're aggravated. Excuse me. It's easier for us to go and get the pity party than to actually realize what the problem is and fix it. Because you live the life. You are the one that knows exactly to the T what's going on in the life. Therefore, you are the only one who can change it. Nothing that nobody says, because when you go crying to people, a lot of the times people are going to give you constructive criticism. Real friends, real family will give you constructive criticism. They're not going to pat you on the back. They're going to tell it to you how it is, because a lot of the times certain situations just call for suck it up. Like, you don't have time for this. What you need to do is be figuring out how you're going to get back on track. But so many times we let emotions get into the way of that. And all you got to do is just calm down, talk to yourself, and let yourself figure it out. I don't feel like we should have to pay hundreds and thousands of dollars sometimes just to go and talk to a total stranger about our problems. Just for them to give us what they feel like is irrational. And one thing that I can say about therapists, no shade at therapists at all, that they will ask the correct questions in order to get to the other side, being that they're only hearing your side of what the story is. They have a way of getting people to open up and tell a little bit more than what we see. But even though you're talking to someone that doesn't know you, at the end of the day, still have to be the one to walk in the direction of getting better. Because I don't care how much this man or this woman talks to you, you are the one who has to make the conscious decision to want to do better. Like, I see this is going on. What am I crying for? I got to get up. Because at the end of the day, all it takes is for you to admit that the reason why this happened in your life is because you allowed it. But we let emotions get in the way, and therapists are just not. But there are some people who I would probably recommend, because I get a lot of people that inbox me and stuff like that with their problems, and some of them I do tell them, like, I feel like this matter, you need to talk to a professional. Like somebody who has papers, somebody who has gone to school, that has figured out how to deal with this. Because in no way, shape, or form am I a therapist. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a shrink. I'm not none of that. Just strictly life experiences that have taught me all of the things that I have been doing wrong in life. The things that I didn't know that was toxic, and then I learned that they were toxic, and being actually taught how to get rid of toxic things in my life. So my emotions, even though I am kind of emotional sometimes, I have a high tendency of being able to control them. So writing in a journal used to help me in my teenage years. I was the journal type of girl, because when you're in high school, when you're in middle school, elementary school, there are peer pressures. And, there are children that have it way better than some children, where parents do all that they can to make sure that their children have things. They might not be the best of things, stuff like that. There's bullies in the school. There's people that will pick on your children who don't have too much more than them. And, our kids don't come home and tell us these things. But, in my day, I can say that even though there were bullies in the school, it wasn't like that. Like, we didn't have people I've never seen anybody like kill themselves like now. You know, people are like killing themselves because they're being bullied. You know what I mean? And but you know, through my high school years, writing in a journal, even now to this day, if I'm really pissed off about something and I have no one to talk to, I will write it down, because that will allow me to see it on paper, and then I can start making the necessary steps to get that energy off of me. And 9 times out of 10, once I write it down, energy is gone, you know? And then I have to just take each situation for what it is. So writing always helps, because when you start writing, you might start off in the nicest, calmest way. And then as the frustration starts to come out, because you're writing everything step by step, that frustration is going to start to come out, and it's going to show in your handwriting. You will be able to sit back later on and see the areas that pissed you off, so you will know exactly what pissed you off, because your handwriting will change. I know this. This is a strategy that I always use. Creating art. I am a kind of craftsy person now, like painting and stuff like that. I don't do too much of. If I was to really just dive in and do it, I'm not saying that I wouldn't be able to do it, but I like arts and crafts. I like putting stuff together and making it look a different way or something like that. You know, but I've never ever tried anything like that. Like I said, you know, music was the first thing that I touched on. Music is the best form, because it's like the person that you don't have the vent to, because the music is going off, it's wailing, and you're like, oh my gosh, I can feel that, and it makes you feel something, and it brings all of that emotion out. So emotional self-care is something that we really need to take better care of, because you know, when you're emotional, you end up being like a doormat. You know, in my first self video, I talked about self-love and self-respect. I think that it was in self-love that it said that all give and no all take and no give. When people take everything out of you and don't give you anything to replenish what they've taken, and the only thing that they think is really that, oh, you did this so you can do more, you can do more. You know, I was in that situation. You know what I'm saying? And I did it because it was a family member. Like, I moved from a whole nother state. I had a business there and all, and I closed my business to go home and help this family member, just for them to be ungrateful. But you know, at the end of the day, you know, that's just like when I give the homeless people money. You know, people used to always be like, why do you always give them money? And I'd be like, all they're going to do is do this with it. My philosophy is, I get my blessings based off of what I do. I have to answer for that. When I go before the man and I'm being judged, he's going to judge me for all of my rights and all of my wrongs. Once I put that money in his hand, that becomes his property. What he decides to do with that, he has to answer for. He has to be judged for. I pray that he does the right thing. I pray that God has mercy on his soul if he goes and buys alcohol. But, you know, we never know what people are going through. Emotions drive you to drink. Emotions, I mean, I remember when I first started smoking cigarettes, emotions drove me to smoking cigarettes. And that was the worst thing that I could have ever done, was smoke cigarettes. And I have been cigarette free for years and years and years. I probably can't even count now. I think I was probably like 21 when I smoked my last cigarette. Well, yeah, I'll say about 21 when I bought my last pack. Let me say that. So emotional self was number one, because I just feel like that's something that we really have to get a grip on. We have to get a grip on our emotions, because a lot of the times, like me, my emotions, because of my emotions, I have a record, y'all. Like, I have at least 25 charges. I even have charges in Savannah, you know, because of emotions. Because, you know, when I was younger, I'll say between the ages of 18 and like 21, I had no chill. You know what I'm saying? I had some chill, you know, because I'm like, I'm not going to just go out and pick on people and look for some shit. But like I said, my problem was backing down. And a lot of the times it was mostly with the person that I live with, you know. So you live and you learn, you know what I'm saying? Like, You have to have self-love. You have to have self-respect in order to take care of your emotional self. Because the emotions is the baggage that you carry along with you into the next relationship, and those emotions start to come out because you're so used to a certain thing, or you was used to a certain thing in your last relationship, that you automatically in the new relationship, even though on it's your attempt to find love, that you're going to lash out with these emotions because this is what the last person did to you. And where the new person is still trying to learn you, there's a lot of emotion involved. He don't know how fast to move, or she don't know how fast to move, because it's a new, fresh relationship. And you're wanting to dive right in. You're wanting to love, 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 love. And I mean, it's okay to be that way, but you have to really take under consideration others, because, you know, women, we feel like men don't have emotions. And I am here to tell you, especially after starting this channel, men have emotions. I mean, like, it saddens me that how many men are out here that really wants to have real love, and where they're asking me for advice, you know, where I feel like some of them are pretty good men, but you still have to get to the bottom of what be going on with them, you know, because everybody have their shit. You know, I try to live by the rule, you treat people how you want to be treated. Period. You know how you want to be treated, so you have to be that person. You have to walk in the shoes of the queen that you want to be treated as. You cannot go around thinking that somebody's going to put a crown on your head and you out here with all the foolishness. This person chasing you down at people's houses and stuff. That's where the emotion comes in. That's where most relationships get messed up at. You know, you get mad at the person, and because you're mad at the person, you go sleep with somebody else, and now, I mean, it's a small town and some information done got back, and it just be too much. Emotions will how H-Town say, emotions make you cry sometimes. Them shits make you lie sometimes. We have to take care of our emotional self. And if you are in a relationship and you care about your significant other, like truly care about your significant other, you will take care of their emotional self too. And when you feel like they're doing something to where they're not taking care of their emotional self, help them get that shit right. You know? So, that's pretty much what I feel about emotions. Like, emotions are the most sensitive topic, because women are very emotional creatures. And I've learned lately, I've come to realize that men are very emotional too. It's just the difference between women and men is women wear it on their sleeve. Men hold that shit in. But then behind all of that, being hurt and holding it in, not really knowing how to go to somebody and talk to somebody without going to family and talking about the girl and making, or talking about the dude and making them look bad to their family, and then you end up staying with them. Now the family thinking, oh, he brainwashing her, when in all reality is you were just pissed off at the moment, went and talked your shit, and now that you're not mad no more, you and him done made up, and now the family hates him. Now he can't even go around family reunions, and if he do, he's so fucking uncomfortable because of all of the fucking emotions that came out of your ass when you ran over there to talk shit about him or her. If you're married, or even if you're in a situation to where your boyfriend and girlfriend and you live together, you have to learn how to keep your family out of your business. At the end of the day, your family ain't in this relationship. They're not in this house. They're not paying any of these bills. I'm pretty sure 9 times out of 10, if they do give you money to help out with the bill, you have to pay that shit back. It's a loan. I borrowed this money from you. You didn't give me anything. They don't have the right to come into your house and say nothing. And ladies, you have to realize that when you marry these men and you want these men to be just that, men, You feel what I'm saying? Like, you cannot pick and choose what part of the vows you want to obey. Once he becomes your husband, you ain't siding with nobody else. You ain't supposed to be siding with nobody else, because it says God made this union, and don't let no man, not your mama, not your daddy, not your cousins, no man. If somebody brings something back to you, don't entertain that shit, even if you feel like you need to investigate. You do your fucking investigation in private, and you bring the issues to him. He is the man of the house. And stop acting like these men can't fall on hard times, because they can. Shit happens. Black men got it worse than black women. I'll be the first person to put it out there. You know, a lot of people will be like, oh, black people do have it a lot harder in society than other races. But what we have to realize is that we are the strength. We are the strength, and you can't go and work on a job, and nothing against my other races, but you can't go on a job. And this falls under the emotional shit, because these people put you in fear of losing your job. So therefore you take all kind of bullshit. That's a whole nother video. So I'm gonna move right along. Practical self-care. Tasks that you can complete that fulfill core aspects of your life in order to protect future. Let me read that again. Tasks that you complete that fulfill core aspects of your life in order to prevent future stressful situations. Like, I'm a server, bartender, so I get money every day. Now, it's hard when you get money every day, because when you go in the stores, you see shit. Where I'm very responsible with my money. But, I said in other videos, I have a thing with costume jewelry. I do have some real pieces. I do have real pieces. But I am obsessed with that and shoes. I have a thing for, like, literally I have to talk myself out of the store, like, no, get out, But, like, so I do create budgets for myself. I do write down what I have to pay and stuff like that, because that keeps me from overspending. And where I need to learn how to save a little bit more, because I have my little bit that I always put to the side. Every time I get money, I put this amount to the side, unless I have to pay something or something like that. So that I always have something in the savings, so that, you never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to happen. So I do kind of create a budget for myself, so that if something was to happen, I could live, and I would have to pace myself according to my budget to find something else and make that shit continue to happen. Period. So, taking professional development classes. I don't feel like going, I mean, classes are good, you know what I'm saying? You can learn, like, 100% of the information, but I feel like with the way that technology is today, you can go online and learn so much shit. And I mean, like, you have videos of people doing the same thing, slightly different way, but you can look at all of these videos and take from all of these videos what you need to take from each one and apply it to what your method and how you want to do it, and learn how to do it just like that. So I mean, like, you can go online and learn anything. I probably can go online and learn how to change a part to my car. Would I do that? No, I'm paying somebody to do it. So I just feel like development classes, you can develop yourself. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like you should have to go to a class and talk to somebody who has 20 to 25 students. They have to learn every single thing that each one of y'all need. But what he's trying to do is just teach y'all the same things that applies to everything that you need to do, when in all return, you're looking for specifics. and you can single yourself out. I just feel like anything that you want to learn is on the internet. And you can learn it fast. You're gonna see them doing it, and it's gonna be so much easier because it's gonna be like hands on. You can do it while they're doing it. Pause it. So the internet is very informational. It's also very scary, so you have to be careful what you soak in. Me personally, I don't like drama shows. I don't like housewives and stuff like that because I just feel like that's just such negative energy, and it portrays us to be something that we really not loud and obnoxious all the time. Like we have to stop letting them put that image of us out there, because not all of us are loud and obnoxious. And when so many of the black women do that, they look at all of us as loud and obnoxious. You know? So organizing your closet, or your room, or getting rid of small clothes that, because we all women, we do have that thing. Like, I have so many shirts that just have like a sentimental value to me. Like my Captain America shirts, I have a problem throwing those away, because Cap is that's my man. That's my Marvel Avenger. That's my Marvel comic that I like. So any of my shirts that's too small for me, I'm feeling some type of way about getting rid of them. So because Captain America is sentimental to me. But I said tomorrow I'm gonna get up and get rid of all of the stuff that I can't wear, because I am 39 years old, and where I keep in shape, the older I get, the curvier I get. So those shirts, it's not that I'm gaining weight, but moving right along. Physical self-care, and this is what I was just talking about, like working out and stuff like that. As a working people, we don't have much time for anything. We barely have a 30-minute lunch, and 9 times out of 10 on our lunch breaks, we're trying to rush out and go and handle some business before the place closed, because you're going to be at work when the place closed. So therefore, we don't get a lot of time for exercise and stuff like that. Now, when I was in Beaufort County, I used to work out 2 hours a day, and I would still go to work. And then, like, I remember one time I was so sore one day, and I told myself I wasn't going to never do that again. And I ended up doing it because my body got used to it. So since I've been here, my routine has been a little bit different, especially with my sister, and helping taking care of her, and working, and having my t-shirt press, and talking to you lovely folks. I have to balance my time out, because I still have to adult, and I still have to be a mom, and I have big kids. I only have 2 of my sons here with me, but they're 20 and 13. And the 13-year-old, he eats just as much as my 20-year-old. So, I have to stay physical. I have to stay physically fit in order to keep up. So, it says physical self-care, activities that you can do to improve the well-being of your physical health. Taking a walk during lunch breaks. But just like I was speaking on, like a lot of us, we are going out to handle business during our lunch hour. We're trying to make sure that kids' daycare is, we're making sure the kids' daycare, or we trying to go buy food because we didn't have enough time to cook before we left, and we have to go buy food to take it to the house so the kids can eat, because you get off in the next 4 hours. When you go back to work, you gotta get up. So I understand what it is to be a parent and to adult, and to be taking care of parents, or anything in your schedule just calls for you to have to do stuff on your lunch break. So you really can't take the walk. Making sure that you get enough sleep. That is very important, and that's something that I struggle with. I struggle with sleep only because with all of the 100,000 things that I'm doing, I feel like, I'm not going to go to sleep when my body's exhausted. But once I start to feel sleepy, like I need to go and lay down sleepy, then I feel like my day is done, because I feel like as long as I have energy, even if it's at 75%, that's still more than half. I can be doing something. And I have orders, t-shirt orders that I have to fulfill. I work. Like I said, I have to be a parent. I have to stay on my son about school. It's just a number of things, but yet and still I have weights in here, and I always try to find a time to work out. Even if I don't do a straight hour and a half, I'll do 10-minute intervals. I'll do like jumping jacks one time. I'll get the weights and lift them another time. So I do squats sometime, so I find my way to continue to work out and stay physically fit. Even though I try to eat right. I don't eat nothing in the morning time. People who work with me will tell you they'll be in there on our power shift meeting when they make the new entree and everybody eat it. I'll be in there like it look good eating my protein. So I feel like a strong mind is a strong body. So you have to get some rest. Don't wait until your body puts you down. You don't want to do that. It's going to take you forever to get back to the person that you need to be in order for your life to continue moving. Make sure you get good amounts of sleep. Like, even if I'm having a conversation with somebody, I will tell them, like, hey, I'm tired. I'm going to bed. Period. So, that's one thing, try to get, if you can't get 8 hours and you're only getting 4, try to get 5 or 6 the next time. Get good amounts of sleep and stay hydrated. Like, that is one of the biggest things when it comes to physical health. If people don't even realize that, more than working out, keeping your body hydrated, because you don't realize that when you don't eat good, or you like the type of job that I do, we're always chasing the check. Sometimes, like I say, when you go on your lunch break, you have to run out, go do something, and come back. You don't eat for the first shift, you don't eat for the second shift, so you're just running on fumes. As long as you stay hydrated, drink water, drink juice, drink whatever that's gonna nourish your body and is going to give your body some kind of nutrient, because your stomach will separate and send those nutrients from water, because a lot of times I take bottled waters, and I have the bottled water that have electrolytes in it because I'm always moving, so we sweat a lot. So you just have to stay hydrated, and especially with it coming up on the summertime, like it's getting hotter and hotter and hotter, like 112 degrees here, and I'm like, I don't even want to go to the car to crank it up and go somewhere. So staying hydrated is really good for your body, because our body releases toxins through our sweat, through our urine, through our feces, so you have to make sure that you maintain a good physical health, so that your body can continue to fight off diseases, colds, and anything that might cause any kind of sickness in the body. That way you won't be slumped over when you're like 80 years old. Stay physical. Keep that body physically, not even fit. Yes, physically fit. You don't have to be muscular to be physically fit. Because some people who have muscles, like my son played football. And when he stopped playing football, even though he still had a semi-muscular build, he was out of shape. So, staying hydrated and trying to find a way to do some kind of workout throughout the day, getting more sleep, stuff like that. Your physical self, working out relieves tension and stress. You have to take care of that. Because whenever you are out in life and you're dealing with people and you're not able to be physical, how are you going to have any kind of social life or anything like that? Like, you have to take care of yourself. You have to know the signs when something's not right. When you're having unusual aches and pains, you have to be aware of everything. Take care of yourself. Mental self. And I'm on 34 minutes, so I'm going to try to breeze through these as fast as I can. But these are still things that stemming from you knowing, once you know how to have self-love and how to have self-respect, and your confidence level is it has heightened, and you know your worth, and you have good self-esteem, and once you have all of those things, all of these things will start to get easier. You will start to learn how to care for yourself a little bit more, so that you can be physically fit, and you can be emotionally fit in order to deal with people, because you wouldn't even be able to do a customer service job if you wasn't able to control your emotions. Like, some people emotions are bad. Like, don't get me wrong, my emotions can get bad, especially on the job, because some people, like I say, sometimes all it takes is a smile. I literally ask my customers, if I feel like they're getting rude with me, I'll be like, you okay? You all right? Can I bring you something? I mean, maybe your blood sugar's low and I can bring you a soda or something. I'll pay for it. So, I will make them aware that they're actually, like, you're trying to put this bad energy off on me. Like, I'm sorry for what you're going through, but we're going to have to get it together. You have to keep those emotions under control, and the only way you can do that is you have to have self-love, self-respect, that's going to help you have confidence to where you have good self-worth, that you know your worth, and that you don't let nobody try to downplay your worth and make you less of what you know you are. So, this right here is like one of the most important to me, because as long as you can get your emotions under control. Like me, a lot of the times, if I'm in a relationship and we're arguing, I tend to get quiet. I will get quiet. I will argue to a certain extent, and then at a certain point, I'm just not going to say nothing, because then I'm going to be to the point where I feel like now we're not getting anything across to one another. I don't feel like we're resolving any of the issues because nobody's listening. I'll get quiet. And then a lot of the times when you get quiet, it's like you took control of the situation. Stop always trying to be in control by trying to be the loudest. Because it never fails. In every relationship that I've been in, when you continue to go blah, 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 and nobody's listening. Now, don't get me wrong. In the midst of yelling, we hear each other, because I can always come back and repeat shit that I heard you say. And my ex used to trip out about that. He'd be like, oh, you did hear me. Yeah, but you're going to listen to me, and that's why I was yelling. So, even if you hear things that the other person is saying, it's hard for you to make rational decisions in order to make the right decision. And a lot of the times, the decision making is so bad that you actually break up with somebody over pettiness, over emotions. You have to get that in check, and the only way that you can control your emotions is if you love yourself, if you respect yourself. Because if you love yourself and you respect yourself, you're giving your significant other something to love and respect. And your situation at the house where it seemed lonely and shit like that, because you're always so nervous that this person is out doing something, and you never know, he might just go ahead and love your ass. But we tend to push these men away with our emotions. I'm not saying it's not okay to say something, you know what I'm saying, if you feeling a type of way or something like that. But all I'm saying is, when it's a little thing, don't blow it out of proportion and make it a big thing for nothing, just for you to settle down, go back to the beginning, and realize that it was petty as hell, that y'all could have simply just talked that out. You always end up at that anyways. So, you have to pick and choose your battles in life. You have to pick and choose your battles in your relationship, in your friendships. You know what I'm saying? So, as long as we can get our emotions under control, we can have that good physical, like, try to get that physical, get that body right. A lot of people complain, but guess what it takes? I can tell you, come on, let's go to the gym all day long. It starts with self. You have to want to get up and go. You have to want to get up and go to the gym. You have to want to do the exercises. Even when you get tired, you have to want to push through it. And I mean, it's good to have somebody there that's gonna talk you through it and push you through it and get you through the next set. Because the more that you do in a day, the better the accomplishment feel, and the better you feel about yourself, and the better results you get. But everything starts with self. And that's why I did the first self video. If you have not gone and watched that video, please go and watch that self video. Because it tells you everything. It tells you about self. I don't like the dictionary version of the definition. Because I feel like I said in my video, we are all different. So my definition of self is going to be different than yours. And I think I'm going to do one more. And then I'm going to have to do another video for the last two. Because I hate to make the video so long, but I just have so much information. And I love y'all so much, and I want us to get better. I want us to get better. That is my intention, is for us to get better. And these are, you know, I had people come back to me and tell me when since they watch my toxic relationship videos, that they had so much toxic shit going on in their life, and they didn't even realize that the stuff was toxic. They felt some type of way about it, but they didn't realize that it was actually being toxic and making them toxic until they watch my videos. Like, I am so dead serious. Like, anything that I talk about in these videos, I try to live that life. Do I slip up sometimes? Yes, I do. But I am aware of the slip up, and I fix it. I make it right. That's why I said we all have the ability to change our karma. Because where I might have slipped up and it could have been something that was going to bring me bad karma, I realized that, okay, I'm going to fix that. And that's why it's so important to get that thing with self. You got to check yourself. You have to figure out the type of person that you are. And then you have to realize, is that person being toxic to anybody? Because it's easier for us to point the finger and say that somebody else is toxic just so that we don't have to change. Just so we can have an excuse of why we did what we did or why we acted the way we acted, instead of just take responsibility and say, you know what, I could have been the toxic person in that. Because the only person that you can change is you. Stop using that, knowing that you're being the toxic person, and then turn around blaming the other person for being toxic because you want to change something about their character that you don't like. And you can't go around trying to change people's character because they was born and they was raised and they went through obstacles that built that character. You never should try to change a person's character. Habits are made to be broken. Y'all, everybody grown. You know, we know the difference between character and a habit. And if you really care about that person, the fucking habits will be gone. Married people, I don't even know what y'all be doing. Because, I mean, once I get married, I mean, I'm not going to neglect my friends that I have and stuff like that. But my husband comes first, and nobody here in America has nothing to say about him. If you do tell me something and I choose to investigate, you will never know. If I do find something, you would never know. Because at this point, he's not my boyfriend, he's my husband. And we joined into this union, so we're going to figure this out. Regardless of whether our end result is to split. But that's going to be a decision that him and I make, not something that the whole community had their hand in. So we have to get our emotions together. The last one that I'm going to talk about is mental. Mental self-care is any activity that stimulates your minds or your intellect. Reading a book, solving a puzzle, play chess, going to a museum. So all of those are like where it's at. For one, you read a book, it helps you get rid of the bad memories that you had, because now you're focusing on what the book is about. And if it's a good book, it's educational, it's teaching you something, that's a plus. So reading a book when you're frustrated is always, and I can guarantee you this, I can put money on this. If you're frustrated and you pick up a book and you start reading, you're not gonna and if it's a good book, you're really not gonna be thinking about what had you pissed off in the first place, what had you frustrated, what had you mad. Because now you're focusing on, what is this book about? What is it teaching me? So you will tend to focus in more on that. So, solving puzzles. Ooh, I love puzzle games on the phone. I used to go inside the stores and get the 1,000-piece puzzles, and I used to get like the colorful ones that's kind of complicated, because my end goal is like, this shit is complicated, but I'm gonna solve this puzzle. I'm gonna put the whole thing together. And I've done it several times. Very meditating. Playing chess. I love chess. I love chess. I love the strategy in chess. I love the person's brain who came up with this game. And you know, like I said in my short video, me and my boys was sitting around one day. I was like, you know, we asked each other, like, you know how to play chess? We got a chess board. As a matter of fact, it was for the hurricane. And we got online and figured out how to play chess, and we was like competitive since then. Like, if we break out the chessboard, you know, my kids will probably be like, okay, so how each piece move, and we'll freshen up, but we'll go at it. It's very, because it's so such a strategic game that you have to strategize and figure out what the next person's move is so that you can make your move. And then you have to be looking at different paths, because each piece moves in a different way. The queen can move in all directions all across the board. And her sole purpose is not to protect any of the other pieces. She will if she can, but her sole responsibility in the entire game is to protect the king. The queen's role on the chessboard is to protect the king. And maybe if some of y'all learn how to play chess, maybe you will learn how to navigate around your motherfucking relationship and live a happy life. And stop worrying about what other people out here is saying. Because that's where emotions come in. People emotions, you let people get caught up in their emotions and come and tell you all kind of messed up stuff. They mad because they're not happy and in a relationship, and they're around you in your happy ass relationship all the time. So what you think is going to happen? They're going to find a way to sabotage it. And the same people that are trying to sabotage it are going to be the same people that's going to go behind your back and try to get with him or her. Because 9 times out of 10, if they're successful in sabotaging this relationship, then that means some way, shape, or form they're going to see you and they're going to ask you, how have you been doing? They're going to be like, yeah, well, you know, me and so broke up. Oh, that is so bad. And then guess what? 9 times out of 10, that person that sabotaged your relationship, knowing that nothing was wrong, knowing that your significant other wasn't doing crap, now they're your shoulder to lean on. Now, they can tell you all kind of lies about your other person. The other person that was involved. They can tell you all kind of stuff. They can add in what they want to add in, because now y'all are over with. So that's just going to make you not even want to talk to that person no more. You won't be able to tell them the lies because you ain't talking to them. And what they said made you not even want to talk to the person more, when you going to realize later on, when this person who done told you all these lies and became your shoulder to lean on, women, men, you have to realize this is what's going on in our relationships. And these are the things that I'm talking about, that we have to be self-aware, and we have to have self-care. Self-care, emotional care. You have to take care of your emotions, because those are the things that send a lot of people to prison. Emotions was the things that sent my ass to jail 25 times. And Judge Tupper, yes, I know him, fucking Beaufort County courthouse, told my ass, you come back up in here for one more thing violent, and I got to give you 5. I got to give you 5. And you know what? That man ain't see me no more. Because I realized right then and there how close I was to losing my life. Throwing my life away for 5 years, no telling what would have happened to me in prison and what I would have had to go through. Oh, bitch, I'm a fighter on the street. I know I'm a fighter in there because I'm not going to let nobody just do nothing to me. Bitch, okay, if it comes down to you killing me, that's what it's going to have to be because I'm not going to just take it. But then I would be sitting in there thinking about my life and the way that it went, how I ended up here because my emotional ass didn't want to back down. You have to take care of your physical. Because when y'all are in relationships, nobody just want to sit in the house and be in the house all day. Even if y'all don't have a lot of money to spend. There's a lot of shit that you can do without spending money. Go on a fucking walk. Find a trail. Go for a long walk with him or her. Y'all talk about each other, what y'all love about each other, what y'all hate about each other. Because guess what? Y'all are out in nature. And y'all are soaking in the sun. Y'all soaking in. It might get a little emotional, but the atmosphere around you is so calming that some way, shape, or form is not going to end with that argument. You feel what I'm saying? Go out and get to know one another. Stop always having to go bowling or to the movies where you have something you have to participate or you have to watch it. So therefore, it's something distracting you when you can find something that's less expensive to go and do to where you have to be up close and personal with your partner and start learning these people and stop listening to what everybody in the street has to say because some of these people is just miserable as hell and they don't want to see you happy because they're not. I do not tell people you don't need to be with him. You don't need to be with her. Because, at the end of the day, no matter what I say, no matter what kind of shit they come back and tell me about these people, guess what? When you look up again, you're going to see them with this person. That's why I don't judge people off of what somebody else already told me. Because a person will say anything. They will say anything because they're mad. They will say anything because they're jealous. They will say anything because they're not happy. They're bitter. So emotional I started with because that is one of the biggest things that in life that screws us. Emotions. You have to start realizing like men and women out here fighting over the man fighting over the woman fighting over the man. But what you have to really realize is if this person puts you in this type of position, they're not meant for you. You should not have to run around and chase your mate around town fighting 2 and 3 people because you done found evidence that they sleeping with these people or something like that. If somebody in your life is putting you through that stuff, they don't really love you. They don't really genuinely love you because anybody that genuinely loves you, well, you won't even have to worry about them. Now, all types of emotions done kicked in. Now, you living in a house with somebody and you feeling like a lump in your throat while you walking around the house. Y'all walking around the house for almost a whole month not saying nothing to each other. You want to leave. Sometimes you don't come home. I don't care if you're sleeping at your mama's house. You making him or her feel like you out here cheating because they done fucked you up. Like, I told somebody this yesterday, and I mean, like me, I try to be as truthful as I can. When you ask me my opinion, I be as truthful as I can without telling you what you need to do. But I had to tell somebody like, okay, every time we go back, you always complaining. It's something complain. But what you fail to realize is you're staying. That's the bigger problem than what the people are fucking doing to you. Is the fact that they do it to you. You knew you felt some type of way about it and you stayed. Means that you want to continue to go through this shit because this person literally has already showed you who they were. You just didn't believe it because you feel like you can change them. You can't. Especially after somebody's already been hurt, or if somebody has already hurt you, you've already felt that hurt and you can't erase it. Even if you got over it enough for you to say, oh, we all right. Guess what? In the back of your heart, in the back of your mind, you hurt. And then a lot of the times when shit like that going on and stuff like that, the other person just rather brush it up under the rug because they don't want to discuss it, because that's going to bring up more emotions. You have to learn yourself. You have to learn self-love. You have to learn self-respect. You have to learn fucking self-worth. Because once you know your worth, you're not going to take that shit. You're not going to cry behind the stuff that people do. You're going to move on because you're going to realize that these people are not meant for you. And that's one of the things that we have to stop doing. We have to stop letting our emotions control the situation and control the decisions that we make in those situations. Emotional self-care is one of the biggest ones. Like, you have to realize that. Just sit back and look at your life. Especially people who have been to jail before for fighting their significant other, or running up on them, or showing up at their house and doing something stupid because we emotional. Look at how many times you had to do that with that person, and you figure out if it's worth it. Like, if you didn't have to do it more than 2 times, I don't know. I just feel like if you stay, you're going to continue. But one thing that I don't want you to do is I don't want you to continue complaining after you decide to stay, after the 2nd, 3rd, 4th time that this person has done it to you. Because now these people are not being toxic to you. You're being toxic to yourself because you're allowing them to be toxic to you. They're showing you who they are. All you got to do is believe them and believe that you're worthy enough to fucking walk away. Me, I have come to the reality that once I realize that a person is not for me, I walk away and I don't feel no type of way about it. If I have fell in love with this person, yeah, that the memory of the love is going to haunt me for a little while, but it's not going to be enough for me to turn around and go back. Because I know what I'm walking into then, and then after I go back, I have to accept whatever. If these people change, that's a plus, but 9 times out of 10, if you go back, you already know what you're getting. So, emotional self-care is one of the biggest things. Practical self-care, being practical and making practical decisions is what keeps the stress levels down, keeps the drama down. It keeps all of that down because you're going to make practical decisions, and everything that you do is going to be practical, so that when the impractical people come into your life and try to cause havoc and chaos, you will be there to be like, this is not what we doing. That's my favorite saying, y'all. Oh, this is not what we gonna do. And I say we to say me, because it won't be a we if I eject myself out of this equation. And physical is very important as well, because you have to stay physical, because when you work, a lot of the jobs that we work require us to walk, bend, lift, and all kind of stuff, and you have to stay in physical shape, because you have to learn how to lift the proper way without hurting your back or your legs or anything. When you're walking constantly, trust me, as a server, you walk, you run. And you be so tired and legs be throbbing, So we have to take care of those things, and I'm going to call this video quits right here at this point. I do have 2 to go through, which is going to be, 2 to go through, which is going to be social self and spiritual self-care, because spiritual self-care is going to be the last one, because that is the most important. Because if you are in tune and you take care of your spiritual man, all of that other stuff is already intact. If your spirit man is intact, all of these things are intact. And that's where I'm trying to get us to. I'm trying to get us to be aware of ourselves and what we really do want in life and how to achieve those things in life, and realize that these things that we want to achieve in life is not given to us. Stop being jealous and envious of the things that other people have, when all you have to do is just sit down and have a fucking self check and realize that it's not people that's stepping on your toes is the reason why you can't get what you want. It's you. It's your negative ass thoughts. It's the negative ass decisions that you make. And you have to realize that you have to do better. Because if you keep getting the same results, then that means it's not the people around you. It's you that have to change something about yourself in order to change your surroundings. People always be like, oh, I adapt in any surroundings. Stop adapting, because that's the problem. You got to be bigger than your surroundings. You have to be bigger than your surroundings. So, like I said, I'm going to start the video here. Thank everybody who supports me. I love you guys. Thank all of my subscribers. Thank everybody who hit me up and trusts me with their information and trust my judgment to make a good decision, if I can make a decision at all. People who believe in me and feel like the words that I speak is inspirational, because the only thing that I can do is speak from my heart and speak from my mind and speak off of the experiences that I have been through in life, and speak off of the experiences that I have seen people go through in life that have made me aware of the things that I do and do not want in my life. And I'm able to admit when I'm wrong. I'm able to fix my mistakes now because I have opened myself up to being more aware of when I'm doing something wrong and when I'm being a toxic person. Because I have to live and I have to be the person that I want people to respect me as. So I can't run around being toxic and still want people to love me and treat me like a queen. I have to walk with my invisible crown at all times. And like I say, sometimes I slip up. I don't do nothing too out of pocket. But, you know, I probably slip up and then I'll be like, oh, you know what? That was probably, I'm going to apologize. For real, for real, for real. You have to know when you're wrong and you have to fix it. And that's the only way you're going to go from putting that bad karma out in the universe and receiving good karma in return, because you counteracted that bad karma with your good deed of apologizing and admitting that you're wrong. So until the next video, y'all, I love you guys. Thank you. If you have not gone to my channel and subscribed, please go and hit the red subscribe button. And when you subscribe, hit the bell on the side. It will notify you whenever I drop a new video or if I go live. And I'll tell y'all time and time again, y'all have to give me some time, because this thing takes a lot of planning, to where I'll be able to Skype people in and we can have 1-on-1, 2-on-2, 3-on-3, 4-on-4 discussions. Full-fledged discussions where everybody can voice their opinion, and we're going to keep it kosher over here. We are all adults. We'll be able to talk, but I will not tolerate any kind of negligence. I will not tolerate any kind of disrespect or anything like that, because there's always a way to get your point across without being toxic. But I am going to end here until the next video. You know.